Man könnte meinen, dass es mir perfekt geht. Ich habe einen stabilen Job, ein sicheres Einkommen, alles, was man sich nur wünschen kann. Aber eine Sache fehlt mir, diese Kreativität, den Ausdruck zu finden. Aber ich habe einen Weg gefunden, mit Podcast mich selbst auszudrücken, Kreativität zu finden und mich mit den Menschen zu verbinden, die genauso denken wie ich und die Gitterstäbe, die einen zurückhalten, hinter sich lassen wollen. Einen Weg in die Freiheit zu finden. Kommt mit und begleitet mich auf meiner Reise.
Hello, welcome everyone. Spring Tribe podcast. Today I'm talking with Samanta Štraupaitė from Lithuania. She is the coordinator of a leadership platform at Choose Klaipėda in Lithuania. And Klaipėda is the European Youth Capital 2021. And we talk today about Erasmus, like European integration, creativity and intuition in decision making. Dare to be, like the slogan of Klaipėda. Hello, Samanta.
Hi, it's nice to see you.
Yeah, thank you. Good for having you, like despite hot weather in the summer. First of all, maybe introduce yourself and how you get to Klaipėda.
Actually, my story is so long because regularly I'm not from Klaipėda. I moved to Klaipėda 4 years ago. I'm from the other city of Lithuania, which is very famous of Hill of Crosses. So it's Šiauliai. And after my all the growing period, all the high school, I moved to capital of Lithuania to get education, higher education. And the thing is that I was always like a young girl that didn't know what to do with my life. And I just follow my friends to the capital to study, to get bachelor's degree. And the education, it was not important so much for me, like the title of the education. I wanted to get the knowledge, and that's why I started my business administration studies of bachelor degree. And where somehow I decided to go by Erasmus for studies. So I was alone, 19 years old. And I went for 5 months to Portugal by Erasmus program, and it was the best thing in my life what happened, because it was like life-changing story. It was a period that when you finally figure out who you are, what you want to do with your life, what you want to do with your life, how do you imagine your future, and also you go out of the box. You know yourself better. So I was really glad that I went to my study period alone, totally alone. I was living with 14 people in one house. They were from different countries, from Brazil, France, Romania, Greece, Switzerland, like totally different countries in one house. So imagine how it was really hard to live all together because different cultures, different religions, like everything was really difficult. So then you start to know how to tolerate other people, how to communicate with them, intercultural communication. So also it was really hard for me because my English language was not so high level, and it was really hard to start talking with people. But it was very good breakdown when you just go for it and you learn and you just uh, try to talk, and then somehow you are like, of course, maybe not the uh, professional English, but somehow you start to study, you pass the exams. So when I came, I didn't had when I came to Portugal, I didn't had a mentor who went through together with me, like to get in, like involved in the Portuguese culture, like to find the university and other things. So I almost had to do that by myself and the friends who was already in my house. So after some time, I figure out that this is what I want to do in my life. I want to help Erasmus students. I want to help international students to be involved in Lithuania, in our culture, to show Lithuania in the best way. And when I came back, I was working so many jobs to get the qualification and some experience. I was mentoring and volunteering in Erasmus Student Network in Vilnius, in our capital of Lithuania. I was working in plenty of events, volunteering with
Um,
international guests.
Sorry, could I interrupt you shortly? When
Yeah.
you were in Portugal, you get this new environment, new people as inspiration, and this new feeling of, okay, I finally found myself. I want to do something with Erasmus, with intercultural communication. So, and then you had your goal already in your mind, and then it took like several years from there until you actually get into the position where you can do something about Erasmus. Was it like that?
Yeah, first I decided to get some experience, like what is to work as a mentor, to get some qualification, because first, like you will not get a job so fast. We're working with international students. First, you have to have some competences.
Mm.
That when you go to the employee and you say, "I have these competences. I don't have experience, but I have some competences that maybe it will be useful for you." And when I came back, I was getting as much experience as I could, working in movies festival, in plenty like events and organizations to get some experience, that to show to the employer that maybe I'm very young, but I have plenty of experience that I can use in my work. And then I was really inside myself. I was really missing Portugal and Porto as a city,
Mm.
because Porto is amazing and it's very beautiful. And then one day I went to Klaipeda, and suddenly I felt as being in Porto, but in very, very, very tiny Porto, like the part of Porto, because
Uh,
Klaipeda is a very small city.
uh,
And I start feeling like, okay, maybe my heart is here. And I start fall in love in the city like during one day, because I
Wow.
was not in Klaipeda. I was not like traveling to Klaipeda
Okay.
so
Was it
many
like
times.
a random day trip to Klaipeda?
Yeah, it
Oh,
was like day with my parents. We were
uh,
just traveling to that city, and I was like, yeah, I love the city. I want to live here.
okay,
And
like love at
I
first
I
sight.
graduated. Yeah, I graduated. I took my bachelor diploma, and the next thing I was going with all my stuff to city, and I was standing in the middle of the city and trying to find the apartment, and it was really hard part to find it. And suddenly I found it. I rented on the same day. By the way, it was my birthday. On my
Oh,
birthday day,
wow.
I
Okay.
I rented a flat. So
Wow.
it was like my birthday gift
Yeah,
from
it's a
from
huge gift,
something.
and everyone in
Yeah,
Germany feels with you because very hard to find a flat or any place to stay in, like places like Hamburg, Berlin, Cologne, or like other big cities, student cities. Like literally no
yeah,
chance. You better try rent flat or any
Yeah,
place like years
it's really
before.
hard. Yeah, so it's really hard, and it was a gift for me.
Yeah, wonderful
And
birthday
then
present.
the next, yeah,
Mm.
it was like life changing. So
Mhm.
during these years, I was changing my life so many times. Like Portugal, it was my first life changing. Maybe first moving to Vilnius, it was my life changing trip. Then next trip, moving to Portugal alone for 5 months. It was the first time that I was traveling alone abroad somewhere. The third time I changed my life on my birthday when I rent a flat in Klaipėda. And the next part, very hard part, to find a job because you need to pay rent and you need money. So I was sending my CV to organizations where I could work with international students.
Mm.
And the director of the one university, she called me and she invited me to the interview. And I was like writing, I would be happy to be a coordinator or assistant, something small from where I could start with small steps to work.
Mm.
And when I came to the interview, the director said, uh, from where you know that we are looking new head of international relations department? I was like, oh, I didn't know that you are looking for new head. I was thinking to be assistant or coordinator, something small, and
Mm.
I was feeling that I'm not ready to be a head of department. But when we were talking and I said about my experience, she said, "You can do that. Don't worry." And of course, they after our interview, they choose another person that had a lot of experience, huge experience with international students. But again, that woman, she said that she's moving out of Lithuania, and then the director called me and she said, "This is your time to
Yeah.
shine." And it was again another like strange gift from the god, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
And I got the job that I was dreaming about. And it was really hard. It was really difficult to work such a like a really responsible job without any background. But I had experience from volunteering and from participating in plenty like organizations. So it was a huge benefit for me, and that's how I stayed in Klaipėda now for already 4 years, and I'm very happy.
Uh-huh.
And soon is going to be my birthday, and I will mention this like life-changing trip again. Like my birthday is always remembering the day that I moved to Klaipėda.
Wow. Yeah, it's very impressive to like achieve like this kind of positions in a young age. And also I really like your intuitive approach. So many people, they might have like a career plan and say like, okay, I will like study here and there and then have a couple of degrees and internships and then I will have my career. And there's like a plan from years and then following the different steps of a career plan. But your approach is more like intuitive, like trust your like heart and I say like, okay, I will just travel a bit, see the place and then fell in love with something and then just try my best to do it. Not like looking at the map or like in some job portal to where can I find a job, but just find the place first and the like find what you love first and then try to make it happen. How can you
Yeah,
come up with
I
this style of decision making, this intuition, like you trust in your intuition, like you always had this intuition?
Well, I became actually I was always the one who are trying to put some initiative to try something new and to create something like like I was always like intuitive and want to experience something new and what is happening in the life it's not for like nothing. Everything happens because it has to happen. If it's bad thing, it's happening because it has to happen. So you have to confirm, you have to take it, you have to learn from that situation. And I like to tell my story to a young person because it looks like very maybe easy, but I have to say that when I was working plenty of jobs, I was studying my bachelor's degree. I was getting the higher scores. I was getting a scholarship from the university because my grades were very good, and I was getting the highest scholarship as possible. And I was working during my free time. So it's like you have to work really hard if you want to reach your dream job. It's not looking like it's put it on the plate and it's so easy. You just do something and you get it. No, it's not like that. You have to work really hard to reach your goal. And I graduated when I was 21. So I moved to Klaipėda when I was 21, and my birthday was 22. So I got the position, my dream job, when I was 22, and it was really hard when professors are coming, and they're saying like, oh, you are like the head of the department, and so how old are you? Because you look very young. And when you say that, oh, I'm 22, and they're like, oh, you're working so responsible job. How did you got this position? And you say, I work really hard to get this position. It's not so easy because you can get a job, but if you are not strong enough, probably you will go out because you will leave the position, you will leave the job because you have to have willingness and you have to have a strongness inside because it's very easy to give up because when the job is hard and you don't have experience, there's a lot of challenges and it's very easy to give up. So you have to work for that because all the jobs are hard, and when we are young, we want to give up very easy and like, oh, I don't like this job. Okay, let's try something good or another. So it's like when you go to your Erasmus to get that experience, you realize how when you are working very hard, you don't want to leave very fast. You want to keep it and you want to fight for it and to get new challenges. So I think it's to get that international experience, to see international environments, gives you some more understanding how the world is working. So I guess.
Yeah, I totally get that. But I think in the international relations or international communication, intercultural communication, when we doing Erasmus in some place, there's like two aspects to it. On the one hand, there's this like study program, the like whatever you study and the people around you and your focus, your mind, your goals in mind. And the second is just you meet new people, new worldview, like encounter new worldviews, and they might be challenging to your initial worldviews. So you may come up with a completely different idea, or you end up in a constant struggle of like finding yourself and never coming to the point where you say, oh, now I got me. But you still like see like, okay, there's so many opportunities. I see so many different lifestyles, and that's so confusing to me. What did you experience both aspects, this confusing part and this like, let's say, goal-oriented part?
What do you mean?
Like when you are doing Erasmus, it's like at least my experience. I think a part of it is confusing. You come up with a new culture, and then they will tell you different story about life, how life should be lived, or like what is possible. You come across like different people, they have different opinions, and then they might challenge your beliefs, and you may start to believe what they are saying and lose your path. The other thing is there is new world, and new opportunities and like a new door you can walk through. So on the one hand, there is this kind of confusing part to it, and on the other hand, there is the opportunities that also arise in a new environment. So somehow the uncertainty that losing the environment you're already having, and maybe losing yourself to a certain extent, and on the other hand, like finding who you really are. And how do you think is this interrelated?
I guess it's more possibilities. Of course, when you are moving to totally different culture, because Lithuanian culture and Portuguese culture, it's totally different. And of course, on the first days, it's really hard because there is a cultural shock, and it's for everyone, and it's normal. If the people before they are traveling more often, they have not so strong cultural shock. For me, I was abroad before going to Portugal. I think I was only few times going abroad with my parents,
Mm.
and when you go alone, it's like you're so confused and you don't know what are you doing, and you're thinking, why I came here, like
Mm.
who was
Yeah.
bringing me
Mm.
here. But when you take the challenge, because
Mm.
I know some students that they just go and they don't take, like they are spending all the time in the dormitory or in the house that they rented. And for example, if they are going two friends, they are spending all the time, all just two of them, they don't meet new people, and they are doing a mistake, because when you come, the challenge is it's coming to you, so you have to face it and you have to take it, and to take the challenge, like challenge accepted.
Mhm.
And let's do that. It's really interesting, and it's bringing you new opportunities, new experience. Like you have to take it. It's coming to you. And some people, they are just rejecting it, and then they are not bringing the best experience. They are then when you're asking a student, so how was it? It was like, oh, it's okay. So what you were doing? Oh, I spend all my free time in the dormitory. So no, it's not
Yeah,
the real
yeah,
experience.
yeah. It's like we are both staying in harbor cities. Me in Hamburg, you in Klaipėda. So it's like the ships never leaving the harbor because the harbor is a safe place, and the wild sea outside is so like dangerous. So, and but it's not what ships are meant to be. And
Yeah,
that's also one thing I like about the slogan of Klaipėda, like dare to be, like just dare it, like take a
yeah.
chance, like accept who you are, like express who you are, and then you find new ways. You also are working as a coach or a mentor, like you helping others making similar decisions like you have done.
Uh, well, yeah. Since I'm working with international students and Lithuanian students, I'm sending Lithuanian students for studies or internship. So I'm trying to motivate them, because
Mm.
Lithuanians, it's hard to prove them why it's so necessary to get international experience. Uh, they don't realize, like when you're saying to them, they are like they are listening, but they are not hearing you.
Mm.
So it's quite hard comparing with international students. Like we have full-time international students that
Mm.
when you say you want to go to Erasmus, yes, of course, let's go. When when you're saying to Lithuanians, do you want to go to Erasmus? And they're like, maybe, I don't know. And then you're trying to prove why it's so interesting and why it's so necessary.
Mm.
So then like when they are coming back, and when they take all the best experience, they are very happy, and they are going for the second time and the third time.
Yeah,
They catching, and they
yeah,
want to go again and again.
yeah.
Those who are spending all the free time in the dormitory, they say, no, I don't want to go again. No, So it's like depends on the person, but I'm trying to motivate them, and I hope they can hear sometimes
Yeah,
me and my story.
yeah, I think you're very inspirational in that. And in our previous talk, we discussed your studies that you also could prove that being abroad, like doing Erasmus, actually really change people for the long term. Like,
Yeah, it is changing because I wrote my master thesis in Klaipėdos University. So I wrote about how the mindfulness is changing the students who are using Erasmus program, how they change during the period, like, and the questionnaire is before the mobility, when they are in the beginning, and after. You give the same question and how they are answering, and comparing the answers before and after, you see how their opinion changed. So my research was really interesting for me, and my master's degree was the master thesis was about this topic. So it was really cool to see how they changed, because they changed. The results show that it's changing. People are coming more global minded. The person who said that he's a citizen of his own country, after mobility, he's saying that he's a citizen of the Europe or citizen of the world. So it's really cool, like how you become more global. You don't see yourself so tiny. You don't see yourself citizen of the, like, Lithuania or citizen of Germany. You start to see yourself the citizen of the world, and it's true. Like, we shouldn't put ourselves in frames. We should become more global, because we can, like, now I'm in Lithuania, like in few hours I can be in Germany. And it's really cool that we have this possibility to move freely, and we are citizens of the world, I would say.
yeah, absolutely.
And
And
this is
the world
amazing.
is a much bigger place where we can find a lot of different places where we are treated best. So where we can feel ourselves, where we feel the energy, where the people around us is people we need, and we can find like a playground in the world.
Yeah, and it's like when we are uh, thinking 20 years ago, like people were thinking, oh, to go to Germany, oh, or to France, oh, it's very far away. We didn't even think about USA, because it was, oh, it's very far away. And now to go to China, to USA, it's nothing. So it's like we are becoming more global, and that's really cool. But talking about globalization, it's my another topic that I'm going deeper now at the moment. I'm very interested how all this globalization, how it's changing us. Now, of course, internalization is changing. I already proved that by my master thesis.
Yes.
Now I'm thinking about the higher side, like deeper science. And now I'm interested in how children, they are becoming more interested, like Greta Thunberg, that she is going deeper about the topic of the globalization. She was the first one, the first girl starting to talk. And this is the topic, how in school children, from where they get inspired to fight for the greener Europe, greener world. So this is also, I'm thinking about another research to make it.
Yeah, and I wish you all the best. I think a lot of these topics you're interested in is also a kind of empowering to individuals, saying like no matter they are like kids or adults or young adults, to make their decisions in life and like take actions on a global level and see that their own life can like have an impact on others. Like when you see the example of Greta Thunberg's like little girl like being in Stockholm and then suddenly on the big stage with millions of people who are like protesting for climate justice and whatever. This kind of had an impact when also like I think it's
Yeah.
very interesting to empower
And
people like this.
yeah, and putting the impact on the other people, I would say that she is a real leader. That is because if you're putting an impact on something, like on somebody, then it means that you're a leader. For example, your podcast, people are listening your podcast, they are interested on the topics. You are also a leader. So that leadership thing also came to my world
Mm-hmm.
very accidentally.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like all this topic that we are talking now, the globalization, Greta, that this is the leadership, and we are all leaders bringing to the people some knowledge, some impact, and like I'm trying to get connected with our leadership platform that I'm coordinating of
Mm-hmm.
European Youth Capital. So it's really connecting, like connected all these topics. It's
Mm-hmm.
very close. So
Yeah, yeah,
I think,
absolutely. For me, I ask or talk with my brother. He is a teacher in school, and I discuss with him the topic of leadership, and in the sense of leadership in class, he is a teacher, and so I said. We as people who are like intellectuals, we need to be leaders. We are like more or less forced to be leaders, because if we are not leading, if we're not giving our opinions, then like some bullshit people will give their opinions, like no matter like racist, like nationalist, no matter what, they will give their opinions and they will find listeners. If we as intellectuals will not raise our voice, then other people will raise their voice and get a audience. And the same with the Instagram or like YouTube. There are so many dumb people who like just give like random opinions about politics or Europe or whatever, media, or they just really only make up and like this kind of topics. And I think we have much better topics to discuss than this like
yeah,
nationalist, racist, or make up topics.
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm very glad to have you with me, and I hope both of us can have a more impact on the world and
I hope
empower
so.
other individuals to like explore the world and make it a better place.
Yeah, I hope so because like there is a lot of like plenty of negative topics and things that is around, like all these quarantines, COVID and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about the internalization, people get very scared after this virus, and we don't want to travel anymore, we don't want to get experience, so we are trying somehow to get experience online. After this online experience we got all tired, we don't want anything.
Mm-hmm.
If there's, oh, it's another Zoom meeting, oh my god. It's
Mm-hmm.
like so tiring with all these things,
Absolutely.
and
Mm,
children is tired. And
absolutely.
but I don't know how to motivate more young people after this hard period to use their international experience, because uh, it's really important. And even if you're not going to work in international company, by the way, I know plenty of stories that my students went for the internship and they got the job offers by
Mm,
Erasmus program. Like they
mm,
went for the internship and they got the job. So, and now, for example, one student is living in UK at the moment, another is in Spain. Like it's plenty of opportunities to move on and
yeah,
maybe to
yeah,
start a new life. If
absolutely.
not to start a new life, you just take the experience, you take the knowledge, you put it in your backpack, and then you go through your life. You come back to your home or to your house or home city. You bring your backpack, like you face some challenge, you take it, you put in the backpack, and you move on. And
Mm,
then when you some face some situation, you open your backpack and say, okay, I have this experience, this experience, this experience,
mm,
and maybe you can solve something, maybe you can offer something to your future employee. So it's
mm,
like really everything so connected, and
mm,
it's really important not to pass these these things that it's coming to your life, because after this quarantine period we became a little bit blinded, and we don't see a small things. And when we face a problem or some hard situation, we give up very fast. We don't see a small things. Yes, maybe you faced a problem, maybe you faced a hard situation, but you can learn something from that.
Yeah.
You can take it, and you can learn in the future. You can
Yeah,
use it.
and absolutely. If we discuss COVID reactions of different countries, there's a huge difference how COVID measures are handled in Germany, Bulgaria, Russia, Spain, Italy, or America, China, and so on. So some do a lot of control, and shut down everything, lock down everything. Some are more relaxed and say like, okay, let's open most of it and just see what happens. So no matter like whatever is your personal opinion on that, but you can see that every country has a different approach to it. And if your approach, your individual idea about how this should be approached, is connected more to another country than to your own country, then you can just move around. Like that's actually a potential that Europe provides, but also that generally our mind and our empowered self can imagine that, okay, if I'm unhappy with the situation in my country, and there is a possibility to move to another country, and have a better treatment or more easy access to vaccines, or possibility to go to a fitness center despite some COVID occurrences.
Yeah, and like all this situation, how every country is handling, it's also leadership. So because like you have to lead, you have to know how to figure out the situations, how you solve the problems. So this is also how like the leadership of countries, how they are like the real leaders, how they are handling the situations. So like talking about our leadership platform, I would say it's the first thing that I found out, the leadership and the meaning of that word, because usually we don't use it. Like who are coming back home or going to work and saying I'm a leader? Nobody is saying that. But we should find a leader in ourselves, because we have to believe in ourselves. So I hope like all these would bring to the people some inspiration that maybe I am a leader also, and maybe
absolutely.
I get some additional.
Yeah, and not leave it to the managers or the CEO to be a leader, but to say like, okay, you are the manager, but I'm a leader here. So, or you are the CEO, but still I'm a leader here. So not just blindly accepting every hierarchy and say like, okay, this is a CEO, so I just will bow down and that's it. But see, okay, I'm in my position, I can accept the hierarchy, but still I have my leadership power. And still I have my opinions, I have my beliefs, my hopes, my dreams, and I can work on that and inspire others. And being a leader, like emotional leader, like whatever, having a vision, and not just seeing like on the formal level, there is a hierarchy, there's like a dean of a faculty and so on. So he needs to be the leader, but no, that's everybody can be the leader. Especially if we are discussing about like life directions, about things that like more high rank officials not able to talk about because they have like too many conflicting interests. But we as people with less power can more easily talk about, because we don't have these conflicting interests. We can just speak our mind, while others might always need to consider what will be the effects of what the things I'm saying, let's take, for example, like Elon Musk, like smoke marijuana and the stock break down like $2 billion destroyed because he smoked the weed. And the effects on this of the CEO's action on prices, markets, and so on. If Angela Merkel will say something about capital markets in Germany, like they will be like crazy, like billions and billions will be destroyed. If Angela Merkel will say something about capital markets in Germany, which this has a negative conclusion, I can speak openly about it. Yeah, so it's like it's maybe sometimes easier being a leader and not having like the responsibility of this far-reaching statement. And like it's on the one hand, like the higher you come up in the like management board, also you can be a stronger leader, but you also have facing different difficulties.
Yeah.
But at the moment we're focusing on this like young leaders, so the beginning of leadership. And if Greta Thunberg, for example, will have a company or a political party one day, she might also have like different way to act and other things she will have in mind and a different way she will talk when she grow older. At least I think so. Maybe not, but I think when the moment she try to be prime minister or something like that, she will have a different attitude to her.
Yeah, but I hope young people will change what is going on at the moment, because the scientists they are like already proved that if we don't stop now, then we will be destroyed soon. So we need young people, we need young leaders start to change what is now at the moment. We need to stop all this climate change. We need to change the organizations. We need to change the factories, what they are using, what they are putting out in our environment. So, but I think that's another topic to discuss.
Yeah. I think we cover a lot of topics already in our talk. And I think the overall idea of empowerment and liberty, freedom, and to take action whenever you can comes across. I think, Samanta, you are a great inspiration to young leaders and in decision-making generally and like trusting your intuition. Thank you very much for being here with us.
Thank you. I hope I inspired a little bit some people. It would be great that if my story would touch just maybe a little bit some people. I would be very happy, and thank you for inviting me to be today with you. And I wish all the young people, young leaders, to not be afraid to fight for it and prepare a big backpack for your future life. It's really useful, and I don't want to say as old people are saying, like, listen to me, but from my experience, I would say take everything what the life is bringing to you and use it. Maybe you will not use tomorrow, but you will use it soon. So take it what the life is bringing to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much.